Doing a slab technique. Get yourself some clay. I have all my tools kind of ready to go. So I have a wood tool, I have my slip, my water, I have some slats, a ruler, my cutting wire, my DIY toothpick tool, I have a straight edge, and my serrated rib. So when you're using slats as your guide, this is sort of like old school if you don't have a slab roller. You basically use two pieces of wood. So these are just like what you would find at Home Depot to stir paint, or some like thicker rulers. You could even use a book, anything that's the same size, because what you're going to do is you're going to use your rolling pin and you're going to go on top, and it's going to flatten the clay to that perfect size. Now we use the guides because sometimes when you're starting to use a rolling pin, if you're not used to it, what you do is you kind of end up smashing the edges, or you have uneven pressure. So it's going to be important that you kind of use these guides to make it all even. Now, since we're making letters with this assignment, you kind of want a wider piece. You can use the slab roller, which I'll show in a little bit, for a longer piece. But this is just to make our base. Okay, so it's nice and smooth. Now I'm going to suggest that you have your entire hand as your guide, because you want it to be about 4 fingers wide. Okay, you want it to be wide because you're going to be adding walls to it, and it's going to narrow the opening of this bowl. And you don't want it to be like the only thing that you can store in that is paper clips. Okay, so I kind of lightly press down. I'm going to make an L, and then I'm going to halfway just kind of make sure I know what I'm doing here, just in case I'm not very good at drawing. You can also use your ruler, right, just to make sure that you have straighter edges, that it's all the same thickness. Right. Wider is better. So that looks good. So then I'm going to use a straight edge. You're not going to use a needle tool because I don't want you to scrape my table. And I have these in multiple sizes. Save the piece. Okay. So once I have my shape, you're going to write your name. So that's a step that everybody forgets. And then we can get started. If you want to put a piece of newspaper down, that's fine too. So when you're making your walls, you're going to use a ruler. It's the perfect width. No math involved, which is my favorite, right? So you see how this is like the perfect width? Nice and straight. I'm going to use this to start building up my walls. So, score You need enough slip so it kind of oozes out, but it's not like on both sides. Just enough. And then we're gonna seal. So you're gonna go on top, not like on the side. And I kind of press down a bit. I'm gonna have my finger on the inside. Just to kind of blend it a little bit. Now you can see that I have some overhang. You can use the back end of your tool to just kind of cut that off. Okay. So I'm going to use part of my discard pieces to make a baby snake, because on the interior you may want to have like a little extra support in that joint. Okay, so just a baby coil, like a scarf. Place that right down on the inside. I have a hand to support on the outside. And then I'm going to blend. Okay. So I'm going to blend half of that down. And the other half up. That's just going to give me a little bit of extra security in this crease. So that way it's a really nice interior wall. I just take a finger and like smooth it a bit. Okay. When you're doing the exterior, you're going to use that serrated edge, and you're going to rough up the outside, so that way I don't see that seam where you attached it. Flip it around, nice and smooth. Okay. If you can
need a lot of clay for this?
Yeah, probably. If you can still see the seam, do it one more time, so that a little deeper. Okay. The point is to have nice straight walls. So, as you attach more and more, you're going to need more walls. So that's where the slab roller comes in handy, because it just makes long strips for you. Okay. You kind of line it up. There's a little bit of an overhang, that's okay. Just cut it nice, and you attach again. All right, slip. This time, since you're also attaching these two walls together, they have to be slipped here and scored. Okay, so you're starting to see the idea. But because I use the ruler, it's a perfect height. All right. So we're smoothing it. It's all the same. Okay. Then I would start to add the baby coil and smooth the outside, and keep going until you're all the way around. Okay. If you want to store this on a board, you can, so that way you can move it and bring it back, because it's a little floppy, right? Or the newspaper, you can kind of cradle it and move it to something. But that's the gist. Let me show you